I've just realized I messed up. I think I picked up the old car instead of the new one. Yeah, because it looks exactly like the new one, and yeah, I think it's the old one. Let me check the interior. Oh, no. It is, yeah, it is the new one. Oh, I'm so sorry I bothered you, but what's new on this car? This is the 2024 Porsche Cayenne Turbo. It can pump out 739 horsepower, 950 Newton meters of torque, and just have a listen to this launch. So at this point, you're probably expecting me to say that Porsche finally caved in and made the 2020 Cayenne Turbo a full electric model. They gave it lots of power, and it's gonna be fun to use that power in a straight line, but they kind of sucked the soul out of it by removing the internal combustion engine. But pop this car into Sport Plus mode, and you'll immediately awake the beast that's been silent up until this point, because this car features a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 under the bonnet. And all that's left for you to do is press the brake pedal hard with your left foot, floor it with your right foot, launch control is engaged, and you're off! So that was north to 100 kilometers per hour from standstill in just 3.7 seconds, and it's really difficult to me to begin to explain to you just how impressive and silly at the same time this is a 2.6 ton SUV getting launched to 100 kilometers per hour in under 4 seconds. This car doesn't mess about. It's properly fast. I mean, not a lot of sound gets on the inside of this car because it's very well insulated, being a luxury product and all, but you do get to hear the rumble of that amazing V8, and boy oh boy does that make a difference. I mean, don't get me wrong, a twin turbo V8 in an SUV doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But it does make this car feel quite special. Now, before we go into the design changes, both outside and inside of the new 2024 Cayenne, let me quickly walk you through the new lineup, because Porsche has switched things around a little bit. So as of 2024, you only have 3 Cayenne variants you can choose from: the base, the S, and the Turbo. Now, the base and the S can be had both with only an internal combustion engine and as a hybrid. The base Cayenne has a V6 petrol engine, while the S gets the V8. Now, the new Turbo, basically this car replaces the old Turbo S, and the previous Turbo GT, a hybrid form, and it features, like we mentioned already, the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 under the bonnet that can produce 600 horsepower and around 850 newton meters of torque. But it's also helped by a 176 horsepower electric motor that can produce around 450 newton meters torque. Now, both of those combined gives this car a final total output of 739 horsepower and, get this, 950 newton meters of torque. This car is a beast, make no mistake about it. Unfortunately, as has been the case throughout the years, the Cayenne doesn't get the PDK transmission because of the high torque outputs. Those are gonna kill a PDK double clutch transmission, so this has to make do with an 8-speed Tiptronic transmission, which is fairly good actually, and of course drive goes to all 4 wheels. Now let me quickly walk you through the exterior changes brought by this new Porsche Cayenne.
A few moments later.
Oh, hey guys, Paul here. I picked up the Cayenne from you guys on Friday, and I was just filming the latest bits of the car before I drop it off to you tomorrow, and I've just realized I messed up. I think I picked up the old car instead of the new one. Yeah, because it looks exactly like the new one, and yeah, I think it's the old one. No, I'm pretty sure it's the gray one. Yeah, okay. Let me check the interior. Oh, no. It is, yeah, it is the new one. Oh, I'm so sorry I bothered you, but what's new on this car? Oh, the headlights, yeah, they're a bit squarish compared to the more rounder one. The front bumper, oh, if you say so. At the back, what? It's at the back. Oh, it's no, yeah, no change at the back. Okay, got it. Thanks, bye bye. So, yeah, this is the 2024 all new Porsche Cayenne. Apparently, the headlights are new. There's something new at the back, but I can't tell you exactly. The front bumper, apparently, it's got some new shapes on it, and yeah, maybe the wheels are new, but these are they come from an old car. They're the winter setup from the old Cayenne. So yeah, I think we should jump inside, because there's definitely a lot of new stuff there. Okay, well, that was a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? So yeah, while the exterior doesn't really have new things, at least in my opinion, the interior is quite a different story actually. Overall, it's very similar to previous Cayenne interiors, and that's not a bad thing at all. The driving position is perfect. These adaptive plus seats that come standard with the turbo are absolutely amazing. The steering wheel is the same one, you know, from all Porsche models, basically from the Boxster all the way to the Cayenne and Taycan. The infotainment system has small upgrades here and there, works pretty well. This particular car has the 3rd screen, which is basically an extension of the main one. You can look at all sorts of graphs, power graphs, when someone's scaring it to death in this car. Basically, you can see the G-forces you pull. I think there's some video apps on that screen, because, for example, from the driver seats, you can't really see what's going on. You have to go to the passenger side to see. Yeah, and like I said, the quality is amazing, especially this car that has the carbon fiber trim. It really elevates the interior quite a lot, in my opinion. Quality is very good on the inside. Leather everywhere, quality leather everywhere. These love handles, typical Cayenne stuff from the 1st generation. I think you can find 2 of these on one side and the other of the center console, then one on each door. This car has panoramic roof, which is quite cool. It has the Alcantara trim on the roof of the car. This car also features the Burmeister stereo, which costs around 5,000 euros or so. It's very good, but 5,000 euros, I don't know about that one. In the back, plenty of seats. Yeah, they can control their own climate back there and everything. Now let's focus a bit on this part of the car which you interact with the most. And I think Porsche has done a very clever job here. There's a very good mixture of touch sensitive surfaces, which is all of this here with the climate control, and actual physical buttons which you can find throughout the car. For example, on the steering wheel, nice tactile ones, the driving mode toggle here, the climate control. They've not integrated this into the infotainment system, which is a huge plus in my book. And overall, I think it's very, very well organized and very ergonomic. Now, while you and me might think that this is brand new, all of this on the inside here, it's actually, I mean, Taycan owners will quickly jump into the comments and tell that they're not really new, because the gear lever is taken from the Taycan. This whole screen here with the dials taken straight from the Taycan. So there's a lot of part sharing going on, but it's very well put together. This is quite impressive screen that contains all the dials and all the information about the car. It's customizable in every single way imaginable. You can have the map here, you can have 5 dials like old Porsches, 3 dials, everything's digital. It's very good quality and it's very, very usable. You have a button on the steering wheel that once you press, it switches from one dial to another, and then you can put whatever information you want in each individual dial, which is very cool. But yeah, the interior is amazing, driving position is amazing. Now let's see how this car handles on the road, because it's got this badge over here in the middle. This car has 5 driving modes. You get the off-road mode, for whatever reason, I don't know. E-Power mode, which basically runs the car in electric mode alone. Hybrid, Sport, and Sport Plus. Now, hybrid is kind of self-explanatory, as is Sport and Sport Plus. But basically, in hybrid mode, the car can switch from electric power to internal combustion power to combined power, depending on the circumstances you're in. It can depend on how fast you're going, how much power you need, and how much battery charge there is, and so on. You get the gist. Sport and Sport Plus make the car feel sportier than usual, and also the suspension lowers in these 2 modes, because the Cayenne Turbo has the optional, on other models, adaptive air suspension. So basically in sport mode it lowers a few millimeters, and in Sport Plus a few millimeters more. I can't tell you the exact numbers, but you can definitely tell the difference between when the car is in normal mode, basically hybrid, and Sport Plus. It really hunkers down in Sport Plus. Overall, the car is very relaxing to drive. It's very comfortable, it's very quiet and refined. All the inputs are just what you would expect a Porsche to be like. Suspension just so, firm but not at all uncomfortable. Steering is pretty precise, body roll is quite well controlled for such a car. But at the end of the day, you can't really defy the laws of physics with this car, because if for some reason you want to drive it like a sports car, you're gonna notice that that is not a sports car. And as a general idea, this car is much sportier than all of its rivals. It handles better, it steers better, it rides better, it does everything that bit better. And not only is this car incrementally better than all of its rivals, it's also quite a bit better than the old car. I remember driving the previous Cayenne, that was a coupe, the turbo version, and it felt more like a polished Audi product than what I was used to from Porsche. And this 2024 version just feels more cohesive. It feels like Porsche has tuned every single component of this car to just work better with each other. Now let's move on to the likes and dislikes section of this video. Like I've already mentioned, first like is the way this car drives. It's very, very good. If you're looking for a family car, a really big family car, but you also want to have some fun on some fast and not very twisty roads, this is definitely the car for you. It feels like a proper Porsche product. The second like is the interior and the quality and the, I don't know, just the ergonomics on the inside are so much better than the rivals of this car. Porsche has also left some buttons here and there, physical buttons. Everything on the interior is laid out perfectly. You have a perfect driving position. Yeah, now on to dislikes. There's not many things to dislike about this car, but there is one big one for me, which is the pricing. Now in Sweden, the Cayenne Turbo starts from around 170,000 euros, which is nuts. And most of the things I showed you on the inside here, the carbon, the ventilated seats, I don't know, the sound system you get here are optional extras. So this particular model that you see here has been spec'd up to around 220,000 euros. It is pretty crazy, and I don't think this is a Porsche Cayenne Turbo problem in particular, because most performance SUVs cost $200,000 plus, but it's just, they don't really make a lot of sense, because most of the money you spend compared to the lower trims are used for developing this massive power unit and all the complicated hybrid stuff. If I would ever want to buy such a big car and I was looking at the Cayenne, I would have absolutely no problem going for the base car. It's so good, and 95% of the time you won't tell the difference between this turbo and the base car. But that's been it for today's video, my friends. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed for plenty more content to come.